So here's a thought for you. What if you could take the single biggest threat to the global economy and turn it into your greatest career opportunity? Sounds pretty good, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're talking about a professional credential that's designed to do just that. All right, let's get into it.
All right, let me ask you something. I'm not talking about the usual stuff you see in the headlines, the day-to-day market ups and downs. Think bigger. What is the one force right now that's kind of working behind the scenes, but is totally rewriting the rulebook for corporate strategy, for finance, heck, for long-term survival itself? Well, that hidden threat, it's climate change. But hold on, it's probably not in the way you're thinking. This isn't some abstract, far-off environmental issue anymore. No way. It has officially moved out of the science journals and kicked the door down to the boardroom. It's here, it's now, and it's the core financial risk that is completely reshaping the entire business landscape. And hey, if you think that sounds a little abstract, just look at this number, $2.5 trillion. That's not the total cost. That's the estimated cost hitting global corporations every single year because of climate change. And listen, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky forecast for 2050. This is a massive, ongoing expense hitting the balance sheets today. And you better believe it's forcing every leader out there to sit up and take notice. So what's really interesting here is that this massive risk, it isn't just one single thing. It's more like a monster with three heads. First, you've got physical risk. That's the easy one to picture, right? A hurricane, a wildfire, a flood that just wipes out your factory or supply chain. Then there's transition risk. This one's a bit more subtle. It's when policies change, like a new carbon tax pops up, or your competitors just get ahead of the curve on green tech. And last but not least, you've got liability risk. And this is a big one. It's when companies get sued for climate-related damages. The bottom line, every single business, I don't care what sector you're in, is exposed to this. Okay, so this new reality has created a whole other problem, kind of a crisis within a crisis. Think about it. The people running our biggest companies, the executives, the board members, they're now facing a challenge they were just never trained for. This isn't what they learned in business school, and that has created a huge, and I mean critical, gap in expertise. And look, you won't have to take my word for it. This quote right here, it really says it all. There's this urgent global hunt for leaders who can actually navigate this new complex world of climate risk. But here's the kicker. They are incredibly hard to find. And you know what happens when something is both essential and rare, right? It becomes incredibly valuable. This chart just lays it out perfectly. It's like the old playbook versus the new one. On one side, you have the traditional executive. They're basically driving by looking in the rearview mirror, totally focused on last quarter's numbers. But the climate-ready leader, they're looking ahead, through the windshield, using future climate scenarios to build a strategy that lasts. For them, sustainability isn't just some PR checkbox for the annual report. No, they see it for what it is, a core driver of business. It is a complete, fundamental mindset shift. So here's the takeaway, right? This huge expertise gap, it's also a massive opportunity gap. The real question is, how do you step into that gap? How do you become that person, that indispensable, climate-ready leader everyone's looking for? How do you bridge that divide? Well, that's where the solution comes in. Let me introduce you to the GeneCapsule Sustainability and Climate Risk Certificate, or SCR for short. And let's be clear, this is not some stuffy academic theory course. Nope, this is a professional credential that's been specifically engineered to give you the exact toolkit the market is screaming for right now, the skills to identify, to measure, and to actually manage all these new risks and opportunities. So you might be asking, is this for me? Well, it's designed for ambitious professionals. If you're building a career in, say, finance, risk management, consulting, or corporate strategy, then this is absolutely for you. Think of it like an accelerator. It takes the great skills you already have and just bolts on this incredibly powerful, future-proof layer of expertise right on top. Okay, so what does this journey actually look like? How do you get from here to there? Well, the program isn't just a random bunch of topics thrown together. It's a super clear, step-by-step roadmap designed to take you all the way from the basic foundations to true strategic mastery. So here's how it all breaks down. First, you start with the foundational science, so you actually get the why behind everything. Then you move into risk assessment. This is where you learn the real-world models and tools to put a number on the risk. After that, it's all about strategy and implementation, turning that data into actual plans to make a company more resilient. And finally, you master the reporting standards. Because let's face it, if you can't communicate your insights, you can't drive change.
It's this logical buildup that makes you truly fluent in this new language of business.
And all of that brings us to the most important part, right? The payoff. What's in it for you? After you've walked this path and you have this expertise, what does that actually mean for your career? Well, it means you become an essential asset. You become the person that every single organization is looking for right now.
I mean, the numbers here tell a pretty amazing story. If you look at the projections for the next 5 years, yeah, general management and finance roles, they're growing, that's good. But then, look over at the growth for sustainability and climate risk managers. It's not just a little more, it's more than double. The market is practically shouting where the biggest, most valuable career opportunities are going to be. So, when it's all said and done, this is what you walk away with. These are your new capabilities. You become the leader who can actually guide a company through this huge green transition. You're the one in the room making the smarter, more resilient investment decisions. You become the go-to expert for what is, without a doubt, the single biggest business challenge of our generation. And, naturally, that's what puts you on a much faster, much more rewarding career path. So let's just end on this one thought. The future of business, it's being rewritten right now, as we speak. We know that huge change isn't on the horizon, it's already here. So the only real question left to ask is your career ready for it? The future is uncertain, but your career doesn't have to be. This is your chance to make sure the answer to that question is a definite yes.